Alright, we have a green box, we have a live counter. I'm not usually the one who says this, but we should theoretically be live.
Yep, we're live.
Sweet.
How,
Woohoo!
how y'all like my image that I've done?
It is very appropriate given the content that is going to be going on.
So yes, hello everyone, welcome to the Storytime Network, in which we're just gonna talk about drunken One Piece theories. There is full spoilers ahead. I have not put the spoiler tag up just yet, so why don't my co-hosts introduce themselves while I put that up, and then we will go from there.
I'm Jack, Captain Jack, and I am probably one of the more expert One Piece enthusiasts in the channel. Not necessarily the most expert, but one of them for sure. And
Nerd.
shut up.
I
Anyways,
am I am titled as Loosey Goosey, but you can call me Dylan. I just fuck around with a lot of manga and anime, and One Piece happens to be one of my favorites. So I'm in here too, drunk as Jack.
For a second there, I thought you were gonna say some sort of euphemism, but no, drunk as your brother.
Yeah.
I mean
No.
that is
We
kind
we've
of the
been
point.
doing shots together, so that'll get us right in the mode.
God, there's so many jokes I'm preventing myself from making right now. You should
I
be
appreciate
thankful.
your restraint, Fuzzy.
Yeah, I
Bro,
actually
don't
I am, to my great chagrin, being forced to restrain myself in
Yeah,
this.
you are in the unusual position of being the reasonable one in a given situation,
Yeah, I'm the
which is
trip sitter.
you don't have to hold yourself back though. It's more fun if it's more chaotic, isn't it?
well, you gotta have someone to rein in the chaos, and unlike usual, Fuzzy is the one who's doing that this time.
Hmm.
I'm sure Mill is appreciating his break.
Probably. I do wish he was here though, because Mill is always entertaining on these streams, even when he is the trip sitter. But if he needs a break, he needs a break. I'm not gonna blame him for it.
Yep, everyone needs a break sometimes. It is how it is. But we
There we go.
should get into the theorizing and the drunkenness and whatnot.
We should, and now there's a spoiler alert posted right across Mihawk's chest, which should be showing up.
Yes, right along Mihawk's big old titties that he has out all the time.
Look,
Let never be said that Mihawk isn't a fashion expert.
look, Mihawk is many things, and stylish is one of them.
That is very true. Speaking of Mihawk, how about we talk about Cross Guild? Because that's the fun shit.
Oh my god, Cross Guild. Where I mean, honestly, Mihawk and Crocodile are just going along with it because they literally have no other choice.
Dude,
Because
Buggy is driving the ship.
Buggy, he does not have much in terms of combat capabilities, but he maxed out charisma. That is his entire character.
Buggy has legendary levels of charisma.
So I actually have a somewhat reasonable theory.
Oh,
Let's just ease our audience into this. My somewhat reasonable theory is that one of the lesser explored effects of Conqueror's Hockey is a sort of passive plus 15 to charisma, just across the board.
that'd be pretty rad, honestly.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing. I think think in terms of skill points added to certain things. Like you can add skill points to power, you can add skill points to intimidation, etc. Buggy didn't do any of that shit. He just put all 100% of his skill points into charisma, and that maybe not even purposefully.
No,
Probably
that's
not
the
even
thing.
purposefully.
He didn't do it on purpose. I think what ended up happening is that he fell asleep at the character select screen, and his giant nose just hit the button that upped his charisma and then immediately proceeded.
Buggy is the real
That's
protagonist of this story, let's be honest.
But yeah, like, basically everyone with Conquerors we've seen so far has been very charismatic, and they're a leader, a known leader of people. And so,
Even the subordinates who have Conqueror's Hockey are leaderly in some way, shape, or
yes.
form.
And because of that, I would like to posit that the next member of the Straw Hat crew to unlock Conqueror's Hockey will be God D. Usopp himself.
Ah, yes, good old God D. Usopp.
Oh, he already has Conqueror's Hockey. We just haven't like recognized it yet.
Yeah, no,
I
I'm
don't
pretty
know.
sure both Buggy and Usopp have Conquerors, just on the basis of the fact that they put all of their points into charisma.
They
That
have that
reminds me
god
of that
level
one-
Riz. God
reminds me
level
of-
Riz.
That reminds me of that one comic that just is like Buggy versus Usopp with Conqueror's Hockey so powerful it makes Big Mom Kaido faint.
You know, I actually do think that during the final battle, I'm pretty sure Usopp is going to be fighting Buggy.
That would be rad as fuck.
One thing I would say is, oh fuck, who was it that Usopp was fighting where he literally just scared the fuck out
Piranha.
of them?
Sugar.
Yes,
Piranha.
that was on the whole cake arc where he
No,
literally.
not whole cake. That was Dressrosa then. You're
Oh,
talking about
Dressrosa.
Statsuki.
Yeah, where he literally just like scared the fuck out of this girl. And I think that was probably like some form of Conqueror's Hockey. They just weren't obvious about it.
There's
The dude is
actually,
insane.
knowing Oda, that's not the craziest theory.
It's not. I think it's real. I think he does have Conqueror's Hockey. I think Usopp just isn't even aware of it.
Okay. If we're talking about crazy theories, and hear me out, I've mentioned this on stream before, but what if the One Piece is a barrel of sake?
I don't think it's a barrel. I think it's an entire, like, massive
Like a
wine
vat
cellar.
of sake, yes.
It's a wine cellar. And
I do think, like, I do agree with
think
you guys
that's-
that the
I
One
think-
Piece is definitely not just treasure.
no,
Like, there's
it's
something
it's
to
booze.
the
Like,
One Piece.
Almost
it's
certainly
sake
it's booze.
specifically because, like, remember, Roger and Odin and the rest of the Roger pirates, they were specifically 20 years too early. So what if those 20 years too early or because the sake hadn't finished aging properly yet? So it
And-
needs another 20 odd years to finish aging properly.
And
to
knowing
be the
that
perfect
Odin
sake.
and Shanks, even though Shanks didn't go to Laugh-Tale with them,
Mm-hmm.
like, they're both booze heads. They both love their booze.
They're all
And
booze
like,
heads.
I think
animals,
all of the
yes.
Roger pirates loved their booze,
Oh, absolutely. They were party
including,
animals.
yeah, including Rayleigh.
Yeah.
Like he's a booze head too. Like that, I think it might have something to do with booze.
I would honestly, if Oda did that, I would be so delighted. Oda is a mad man when it comes to this kind of shit. And honestly, the amount of sake imagery he's weaved into the story would make the One Piece being sake make so much sense. Because you got the sake cups with which Luffy, Ace, and Sabo swore their brother oath with. You got the sake cups with which the Straw Hat Grand got the sake cups supported Luffy with, and Marine and Fleet Admiral Sakazuki is literally named after sake cups. Sakazuki is literally Japanese for sake cup.
Yeah, so that's something that I think is a big theme in One Piece that has been very much glanced over. Is that there's a lot of
And Bink sake, the
and
whole
maybe it's-
pirate theme.
maybe it's because me and Jack are drunk, but I think there's a lot of thematic elements that revolve around booze and revolve around alcohol as a social and a contract forming kind of medium. So I think that, especially what Jack mentioned with the brothers becoming brothers through the bond of sharing a drink.
Well, that's
And I
just a
think that-
cultural thing, right? That is.
Yeah, here's the thing. It's a cultural thing, but that could easily become a major theme because a lot of themes in anime are based around Japanese culture.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're telling me is
And
that
if
the
this is a-
One Piece is a pyramid scheme.
God damn it. God
It could
damn it.
very well be. No, I think that the one the One Piece has a lot to do with the bonds between crewmates.
Though it very
Whether that
explicitly
be
is not.
booze based or something related to it, or it could be something entirely different.
I mean,
We're
they
just
enter the
speculating.
Grand Line cracking open a barrel of sake, so
There's been a lot of symbolism around booze and drinking, and not only that, but partying, festivals, which is another big part of Japanese culture, is festivals and
I
parties.
have actually heard the theory that Luffy's dream is either that he wants to throw a party around the whole world, or he wants to be able to walk into a bar and get anything he wants for free.
I think the former is a little bit more likely than the latter. But yeah, that's another thing, is like Luffy's mysterious dream that makes some people laugh and some people like gawk at, like, what the fuck, why is this your dream? So that is something we can theorize about. Like, what the fuck is Luffy's end goal dream? Like, what is
Yeah.
Luffy's dream for
The
the world?
fact that Pirate King is a stepping stone to that dream is insane.
Yeah. And I think it's a good theory that he just literally wants the world to be able to party. And I am fucking with that.
You gotta love that Luffy is just like so all in about just like celebrating with friends that he will lose his shit if his friends are hungry or thirsty, that he will just straight up overthrow a dictatorship because his friends are suffering, especially food wise, under it.
And it's not lost on me that, here's the spoiler warning for anybody listening that does not want manga spoil. I don't even think it's manga spoilers anymore because the anime's caught up to this. But the fact that Luffy is basically, he has the devil fruit for the sun god Nika.
Mm-hmm.
We have the
That
spoiler warning up. We
Nika,
can, in fact, talk about that.
okay, Nika is not only the sun god, but the god of joy, the god of celebration, the god of,
Joyous boy.
he's like he's basically like Bacchus, but for this universe, in the sense, except he's got the
I'm
sun
sorry.
in relation to him.
I'm sorry. How did you pronounce?
Bacchus.
Yeah, I was.
Why did you
Bacchus?
pronounce it back juice? What the hell, dude?
Fuck off. Bacchus, however you want to say it, but he's like
Dionysus.
Nika
Just
is the
pronounce it Dionysus.
okay. He's the god of celebration. He's the god of joy. And I
Joy
think
and
that that's
revelment, basically, yeah.
I think that, yeah, he's the god of that. And I think Luffy is very much like, even without being conscious of who he's representing, Luffy has a very much joyous, celebratory personality.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
think that a lot of his goals have to do with allowing the world to celebrate and take part in this kind of joy.
Okay,
And that, yeah.
Speaking of global consequences, what do you think of the theory that part of finding the One Piece is destroying the Red Line and letting the whole world ocean connect to one another to create the alt?
The all blue. Oh yes, Sanji's dream.
Yep.
And that's the thing too, is I think a lot of the end game is going to be connecting all the dreams of all of the Straw Hats, because they all have separate dreams. Nami wants to create a map of the entire world. Sanji wants to find the all blue. Zoro just wants to become the greatest swordsman, which, that could happen anyway. But like, each member of the Straw Hats has their own dream, and I think they'll all be able to interconnect in the world that Luffy wants to make, and that's part of why they all follow him.
And they all follow him because he has like 25 charisma and 0 intelligence.
Yeah, Luffy is the master of Riz. I mean, not everyone can get Balboa Hancock to fall in love with them unconditionally.
Did you call her Balboa Hancock?
Yeah, that was a joke.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do find it hilarious that her crush is genetic. That is funny.
Yeah, that whole thing with the Seraphim, yeah, where the Seraphim based off of Hancock also falls in love with Luffy.
Speaking of the Seraphim, actually, I am curious what you think will happen to them, because, like, I think it'd be boring if the world government maintained control of them through the whole rest of the story. I think they're going to break free at some point,
No, we're
and or
already
just get
like kind of there.
They are seeding. Oda is seeding that. Yeah, Oda is just like setting that up real hardcore.
Well, yeah, here's the thing too, is I think the Hancock Seraphim is a great, like, going off of what you're saying, Jack. The Boa Hancock Seraphim,
You can just call him S. You can just call her S Snake.
S Snake, whatever the
Yeah.
fuck. But S Snake, literally Snake. But
No, let's call her Snack. Snack is good.
Snake. But she literally bucks her programming because she loves Luffy.
Yep.
And that's something that I think the emotional attachments or the emotional leanings, the emotional kind of implications of each one can kind of override the programming that they have. I think it could happen to the Jinbei Seraphim. It can happen to the Mihawk Seraphim. Like, I think that all of the Seraphim have something in there. They always talk about the genetic, like the blood factor or whatever the fuck they're calling it.
Lineage factors.
The lineage factor, I believe.
The lineage factor, that's what it was. I forgot the term for it. But the factors in their genetics that allow them to have those devil fruit powers will also give them pieces of the personalities and the dreams of the people that they're based off
So
of.
to be fair, the devil powers are explicitly separate from the genetics.
Well, that's
Because
the
the
thing.
green blood is what lets them use the devil fruit powers. Which
Well,
makes me
that's the
curious
thing,
about
too.
how the crocodile seraphim works. Because crocodile is the only one of the original 7 warlords who is a Logian.
Well,
That's
is there
what I'm getting
a
at.
crocodile seraphim?
There is
There
a
is.
crocodile seraphim. He was in one panel, but all the other
Oh,
outside
so
of the
yeah,
seraphim
no,
on
that.
Egghead, they made cameos in one of the later chapters more recently.
Well, what
But
makes me curious then is why the crocodile seraphim is the only one that hasn't showed up, hasn't had extensive screen time.
So the only seraphim that haven't had really extensive stream time are Doflamingo, Moria, and Crocodile. And this plays into one of my favorite crack theories in One Piece, the Crocomom theory, which is just so fucking funny to me.
Yes, we know.
no, I
Crocodile
don't
is
know.
Luffy's mother.
You don't know the Crocomom theory?
Okay. No, I think I know what you mean. It's mostly due to Crocodile's
Ivankov, yeah.
relation to Ivankov.
Yeah.
Ivankov is one of the most interesting characters to me because of what he can do. His devil fruit is so interesting to me because there's so many implications, especially with Crocodile, and the fact that it's confirmed that there's some secret that Crocodile has that only Ivankov knows about, which
Yeah. So
I guess lends credence to your theory, Jack, that Crocodile was originally a woman.
So the theory, yeah. So the Crocomom theory has 2 parts. One is the more plausible theory that Crocodile is a trans man and was once a woman, and that Ivankov holds that over their head because over Croc's head because they're like, yeah, Crocodile. For some reason, you're very insecure about your gender, so we're going to just like say like, yeah, you are just like way too insecure. We're going to hold that over you because you're a dumbass and also a jackass. Whereas the Crocomom theory adds on to that the suggestion that Crocodile is not only a man who was born a woman, or rather assigned female at birth, as it were, but also holds that before Crocodile transitioned into being a man, Crocodile had a fling with Cobra, and Luffy was the result. Not Cobra. Dragon, and Luffy was the result. And that's
That
why
would
Luffy
be
doesn't have a
very
mom
interesting,
present in the story.
especially since Crocodile was one of the earliest villains of One
Yeah.
Piece.
So
That would be kind of a very full circle thing.
There's only one thing that prevents that from really coming into fruition. Is if that was the case, I'm pretty sure Garp would know about it.
Yeah, that is the thing. Well, also, Garp is a dumbass to a degree. Just not as dumb as Luffy.
He is. He just shows it in different ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's
I do find
more
it funny,
openly smart
though.
presenting.
Garp is substantially smarter than Luffy, but substantially smarter than Luffy is a very low bar,
It's
to be fair.
not the highest bar in the world, no.
I do find it
Do
funny.
you guys think that's live, or what do you think's happening?
Oh,
there?
Jesus Christ, your audio is dipping in quality. Holy shit. So, I'm pretty sure that Luffy's grandmother has long since passed. His mother, on the other hand, we don't know.
We also don't even know if, like, Luffy's grandmother was actually a part of, like, the monkey family's lives, or if it was, again, just a fling on Garp's end. And he's just like, well, I
Well,
guess
here's
I'll
the thing
raise
too.
this kid
I
now.
think thematically, it's very tough to have a mother that's not any part of their kid's life. Just like thematically, because there's the whole issue of had to be pregnant with said child for 9 months, and then hopefully we're part of breastfeeding said child. So like that's at least, at the
what is
very
whole
least, a
philosophy
year of
on-
someone's life that they have to dedicate to a
Well,
child.
no,
All
but
this whole philosophy on motherhood is that mothers are the opposite of adventure, and that makes it very hard for like a mother to be present in the life of an adventurous child, and to write a proper story about the child going on adventures without the mother, dipping into the adventure and preventing them from going on adventures. Because a good mother generally prevents a child from doing anything excessively dangerous. You know?
Yes and no. I say no because of Nami's adoptive mother.
Well, Belmare died before Nami did
so
anything
okay,
exceptionally.
you
But
should.
but Belmare never discouraged Nami from adventuring.
Yeah, okay,
Belmare honestly encouraged Nami to go out and see the world.
I would just like to remind you of one little factor. There are,
Uh-huh.
like, very few living mothers in this entire series.
That's true. There's
I'm
a lot of
pretty
there's a
sure,
lot of
like,
mommy issues.
the only living mother figures amongst the Straw Hats, at least, are Dadan and Kokoro.
Well, I'm not
Pretty
talking
sure.
about mother figures. I'm talking about, like, biological mothers. There's, like, none
don't
of
think-
That's
those.
true.
I think the only one who has a possibly living biological mother is Chopper amongst the Straw Hats.
Well, and Chopper is
Yeah, but
Chopper's
Chopper's
yeah, but-
parents are
parentless.
reindeer.
Yes,
Chopper's parents are reindeer.
his mother is a deer. I don't think that counts for the purposes of this.
Yeah, no.
Chopper is a special. Chopper is literally a special case because he's a deer who ate the human fruit. So his parents literally have no factor in the story.
No,
So-
of course not.
Yeah. So that
Exception
being
proves the rule
said,
in this case.
the only, I mean, mother figure, but the only biological mother figure that really has had any influence on the story so far is Ace's mother.
No, you can say Robin's mother also, as well.
But again,
Oh, that okay.
both dead as of time of story.
Also,
you seeing a
Otohime, who is
pattern here,
also,
people?
also long dead.
hmm Well, I'm talking about in regards to the Straw Hat crew. Unless you
Oh,
want to
specific-
say, unless
we're-
you want to say that Poseidon is like part of the Straw Hat crew, which she very well could be.
But her mother
I'm-
is also dead.
Sure, Hoshi, I don't think she'll ever be a Straw Hat, but I do
Here's
feel...
the thing, though, too. Like that's another thing that I've wanted to get into is that there are so many characters that are not part of the Straw Hat crew currently residing on the Thousand Sunny that could be Straw Hat members, including
Okay.
Vivi.
Speaking of Vivi, I do feel like after Egghead Island, she will be joining up with the crew straight up. Either,
Do you think Waypole's gonna join too?
Fuck no.
I think
No, I don't mean like joining the crew, but I think on the same extent that the fucking swamp guy joined the Straw Hat
Carabo?
crew. Yeah, Carabo.
Maybe? Yeah,
Because
he's
he
definitely
was-
going to
he
be a
was a part
tag
of-
along. Yeah.
He was like Carabo was. I guess that's a great way to putting it. Carabo has been a tag along of the Straw Hat crew since Fishman Island. He's been with them the whole time. He hasn't been part of the
Well,
crew,
no,
but he's
didn't they-
been with
is he
them
not?
on and off.
Where is he now?
No. That's not correct. So he got like sent flying on Fishman Island. He had his own cover story and reappeared during Wano. So he was gone for a full 200 plus chapters.
Yeah, but he's been like he's there.
He
He's
hasn't been
tagging
present.
along. He's
No,
tagging
no,
along
no.
still.
He was not tagging along until after Wano.
Yeah, no, he like had his own story arc where he accidentally became a revolutionary leader.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
which
had
is
his whole thing
interesting.
where he was like, he was mistaken for the Che Guevara equivalents.
But that's
Indeed.
that has to do with the influence of the Straw Hat crew.
No,
Like
that was more
a
revolutionaries, to be
No,
fair.
what I'm saying is his part in that is entirely because he had been associated with the Straw Hat crew first. Not that the revolutionaries that were following him knew that he was part of the Straw Hat crew, but he was only in that situation because of what he went through with the Straw Hat crew. Like the
I
Straw
guess you
Hat
can make
crew
a
has had
tangential argument,
it's
but
it's definitely tangential in the sense that the Straw Hat crew is having such massive implications, massive influence on the world, even very indirectly.
okay. Going off of that. Speaking of the Straw Hat's influence, Straw Hat Grand Fleets, do you think they will be relevant during the climax of Egghead?
Oh,
Well,
not
they've mentioned Bartolomeo quite a bit.
I
maybe
do
not
love that
climax of
Shanks is.
Egghead, but definitely they're going to be relevant sometime during the war arc.
Yeah, maybe not during Egghead, but yeah, there is a war arc coming up. I think I think they're gonna end up going to Elbath. That is 100% the case. They're gonna
They
end up
should
going
have
to
stated that
Elbath.
their next
No,
destination is
explicitly their
Elbath.
next destination is Elbath, yeah.
Yes, and that I think Elbath is gonna be the site of a major battle. Like there's gonna be some shit that's gonna happen on Elbath that's gonna be grand, world-shaking.
Well, the
scale.
question is, do you think Shanks is still on Elbath, or do you think he's like an island ahead of them?
Who knows? I wouldn't
think
be able
Shanks
to
is still
tell
on
you.
Elbath. Okay, I think that Shanks and Luffy are going to have a David back fight on Elbath.
No, I don't
Yes.
think so. And let me
Yes.
tell you why. Let me tell you why, Jack. I
Okay.
think that Shanks and Luffy are yet again gonna just miss each other on Elbath, and it's gonna be the next island where Shanks and Luffy finally have their confrontation. Because Shanks does not want to face Luffy in the context of a worldwide scale battle.
Okay, but
Shanks and Luffy Shanks wants a one-on-one with Luffy. Whether it's just to talk and fight or just to fight, Shanks and Luffy are going to be a one-on-one battle. I am 100% convinced of this.
Do you agree with me that the confrontation between Shanks and Luffy is going to be a Davy back fight?
I think so. And I think the conditions of it are going to be if Shanks wins, Luffy joins his crew. And if Luffy wins, I honestly don't think that Luffy's going to ask Shanks to join his crew. I don't think that that's going to happen. I don't know what the conditions are going to be if Luffy wins. Honestly, it could just be a platter of meat or a shared drinks with Shanks. But I think that Shanks' condition is going to be that Luffy joins his crew.
Okay, speaking of Shanks, like, do you think Shanks has the last road poneglyph, or do you think someone else has the last
100%. Yes, he does. 100% he does.
Well, if that's the case, then that would be the stake in the last Davy and the Davy backfight between them. That would be the last road poneglyph.
It might even be to the point that like Shanks will willingly like back out of the race for the One Piece.
No, he won't. He will not.
No.
He would.
If
Luffy beat him in the Davy back fight.
If Luffy beats him in the Davy back fight.
Yeah, I think that's okay. Yeah, I think Shanks is entirely ready to leave it to the next generation. He's just not going to do it He's not going to do it willingly. He's going to make Luffy earn it. That's something that I love about Shanks as a character, is that he is so supportive of Luffy and he loves Luffy like his own son. But he's not going to let Luffy just take it.
Yes,
he's going to make Luffy prove that he's worthy of it.
Oh, of course.
And that's going to be a big part of whatever arc is coming with Shanks at the center of it. Shanks, I love Shanks so much. He is literally probably, I would argue that he's one of, if not my favorite character outside of the Straw Hat crew. Like, he is such a great character, and you know that everything that has happened from when Luffy got the Gum Gum fruit to now, like, Shanks has been just in the background the whole time influencing Luffy's decisions, whether it be directly or indirectly. And I think that it's going to come to a head, not at Elbaf. I don't think it's going to come to an end at Elbaf. I think it's going to be the next arc. I do think that Shanks is going to be the main, I don't want to call it big bad, but he's going to be the main antagonist of the next arc.
That's possible. The question
Because
is how they're going
he's
to.
the only one left in Luffy's way after that. Even
No,
Teach is not really
Blackbeard.
much. Huh?
Honestly, I think Blackbeard will be just as much of an
Yeah,
obstacle as
Teach.
Shanks.
I think Teach, yeah, he's going to be a big obstacle, but Teach is more going to be the guy that's the last step before Laugh Tale. Shanks is going to be that in between. Yeah. Like, I think it's going to be whatever happens on Elbaf. I think it's going to be world government on Elbaf.
No, it's not going to be world government on Elbaf. It's world government is endgame. World government is endgame.
No, I think in terms of that, I mean world government in terms of they're going to throw all the forces they can at him. In terms of the admirals, it's going to be Elbaf.
No, I honestly
listen. Let me finish. Let me finish.
Okay.
Like, it's going to be admirals at Elbaf, maybe not multiple, but maybe like so Kizaru is going to be Egghead. Yes. Fucking Lava Guy is going to be Elbaf. And I think it's going to be Shanks on the next arc, and then after that it's going to be Teach. And then the very last step, maybe at Laugh Tale, maybe right before at Laugh Tale, it's going to be Emu and his cronies.
No. Dylan, you got to understand. Buggy is going to be the final boss, obviously.
But no. Let's be honest. Buggy's the pro tag.
Okay,
Buggy is the protagonist.
Honestly, I think the world government is going to be the final villain of the story. I do feel 100%. Like they're going to confront Teach at Laugh Tale, but I feel like after Laugh Tale is going to be the final confrontation with the world government.
You think after they get the One Piece, there's going to be more story?
Yes.
I was just about to say, do you think it's going to end with them finding the One Piece, or do you think there's actually going to be some stuff happening?
I feel like they're going to find the One Piece. I think there's going to be one final conflict after they find the One Piece.
This is where I disagree with you, Jack. I do think that the One Piece is the end of the story. Yes, there's going to be an epilogue, but I don't think the epilogue is going to be a major conflict. I think the epilogue is going to be what the Straw Hats do with what they learn at Laugh Tale. I think that Laugh Tale is the end-all be-all of the story.
Well,
against everybody's fan fiction, grander speculations. I think that the entire story is geared for One Piece to be the end-all be-all of the story. And once you have the One Piece, you're the Pirate King. There's something about the One Piece that gives you that power and gives you the influence to change the world into your image.
But remember, Dylan, Luffy's dream is not in and of itself finding the One Piece and becoming Pirate King. It goes beyond that to the point that his crew thinks it's absurd. A lot of his crew thinks it's absurd to have that as a dream. So they think it's more absurd than him wanting to become the Pirate King. So I think the final saga is going to extend beyond Laugh Tale. I think Laugh Tale is just the starting step for the final stretch of the final saga.
I don't know why. I mean, I get what you're saying, and I totally think that could be possible. I'm not saying that it isn't. I'm just saying in my mind, I find it hard to believe that there's going to be an arc where Luffy is the Pirate King. I don't think that there's going to be an entire arc with Luffy as the Pirate King. I don't know why. I just think that like the end goal is Luffy being the Pirate King and then making the changes he wants. But I don't think that that's going to be an entire arc. I think that's going to be more of the epilogue, is that when Luffy's the Pirate King, he makes these changes, he does these things, but all the obstacles in his way will be gone by the time he becomes Pirate King.
So counterpoint, I don't think Oda would set up his dream to be something other than being the Pirate King if that was the case.
I think in the process of him becoming Pirate King, he reaches that dream.
Possibly, but I disagree.
That's my argument. And again, I am totally ready to be wrong. I am not opposed to being wrong here. I would love to be wrong here because that would mean more One Piece. But that's like, I think that all the obstacles in his way have to be gone for him to become the Pirate King.
So here's a different question. How many islands do you think are left after Egghead? We know Elbaf and Laugh Tale are coming up as
I
arcs.
think
I think
after
there's
Elbath,
maybe one other island between
after
those.
Elbath, at least 2 or 3.
So from what I've heard,
up to a half dozen.
I don't think it's going to be that much. I don't think it's that many. But I do think after Egghead, we got Elbath, one other island, and then Laugh-Tale.
That could very much be it.
What?
That could very much be it. But I feel like that's, I mean, we know how long One Piece has been up to this point. I don't think it's going to end so soon. Like, I think there's so much, there's so many interconnecting storylines that have yet to be resolved that I don't think 2 islands are going to be enough to resolve them.
Oh, no, of course not. Again, I do not think it's going to end anytime in the next few years. I do not think it's going to end anytime before at least 4 years from now, at least.
I think by the time that I do like this is kind of a bold prediction on my part. I think the manga is going to end up being 2,000 chapters.
I don't think it's going to be that long. I do think it's going to
go that long. Yeah.
I do think it's going to hit at least 30 years long.
Like the implication there would be that it's literally only halfway done.
Which, yeah, I disagree with. I think
Oda disagrees with
is
it.
going
He says
to.
the halfway point passed a while ago.
I think we're going to hit the end at around the 30-year anniversary of the manga, give or take.
Yeah, it's just so long that like it's such an epic that you like anytime you think there's an end in sight, it's not there yet.
So here's the thing. We're like what 32 arcs into the series. Egghead Island is the 32nd arc of the series. And honestly, like we're due for a few more arcs at minimum after Egghead is over.
Yeah.
But speaking of Egghead, let's talk about Luffy fighting Kizaru and how that fucking fight's gonna go, because that fight is looking so hype right now.
Oh, we're gonna go smaller scale now.
Very interesting.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of the discourse, I didn't realize these people existed, but are y'all aware that there's a lot of like Admiral simps out there?
Oh my god.
Not surprised.
Well, not in the sense of like them but like, you know how there's like always power scaling people who are like,
yeah,
power levels.
Those jackasses.
Power levels are bullshit.
Correct.
Quoting Vegeta. Vegeta.
Which, yeah, the basic idea is that admirals are actually really strong guys, and like they're stronger than the emperors, which just I don't buy it.
No,
entirely.
No.
Well,
for many reasons.
The thing there is, I think combat-wise, a lot of the admirals could be as strong as the emperors, but they're missing one key factor, and that
Conqueror's
one key
Haki.
Factor, exactly, that one key factor of Conqueror's Haki makes the difference. Is because they don't have the ambition, they don't have the drive to be as powerful as the emperors.
They don't
and
have.
That's why Shanks specifically has maintained his power for so long, even with only having one arm, is because his Conqueror's Haki. I think there is a power scaling individually for Conqueror's Haki, because Shanks' Conqueror's Haki seems to be even more powerful than the Dark King Raleigh.
Well, to be fair, you're saying Rayleigh do things.
You're saying that when an admiral tries to whip out their cock, it's just so much smaller than Shanks.
I'm not okay.
Color of Conquerors, yes. It's a joke. It is a joke.
But yeah, that's the thing. Is like you haven't seen Kizaru whip out any Conqueror's Haki.
Kizaru doesn't fucking need Conqueror's Haki. He's literally made of light.
We haven't seen Aokiji whip out Conqueror's Haki. We haven't seen Akainu whip out Conqueror's Haki.
Yeah, none of them have whipped out their cock.
The only one, maybe there's 2, and one of them's not even an admiral. The only 2 that we've seen maybe whip out Conqueror's Haki is Garp and maybe Sengoku.
So Garp and Sengoku are confirmed the only Marines who have the color of Conquerors.
Exactly. And that's because they have their own dreams. They have something, and Sengoku's is related to the Marines. Like he wants to be the bringer of peace for the world government. And I honestly, I like Sengoku as a character. I think that
Oh, he's
he is a,
fascinating.
I think he is a, like, he's not on the correct side of history here, but he is a good guy. And
He's making the classic mistake of trying to change the system from the inside, which kind of like doesn't take into account a lot of the inherent problems with that.
And that's the thing is like, yeah, so Sengoku has conquerors because he wants to be the bringer of law and order. And that's why he has conquerors. And Garp has conquerors for maybe it's an unknown reason,
No,
but my
because he's a
theory
mad
is,
lad. Because he's
yeah,
Garp is insane, yes.
that's too
yes.
simplistic of an explanation. What I'm saying on a deeper level with Garp is that he wants to bring peace to the world, much in the same way that Sengoku does, but more he wants to bring peace for his family. He wants his family to have peace.
Boom.
And that includes, I think, with Garp, he is of the D. He wants to bring peace for the family of the D.
So
Maybe not
speaking
maybe
of the
not even
D,
limited to his own biological family, but to the family of the D.
speaking of the D, what do y'all think about Vivi being a D and what that's going to have for
I'm not
a
surprised at all. I am not surprised at all.
There's like a reason Vivi has always been canonically listed as a Straw Hat, despite not necessarily being a part of the crew for a long time.
No, she is. She is like ever since
the
the
Alabasta saga,
the
yes.
Alabasta arc, ever since the Alabasta arc, Vivi has been a member of the Straw Hats, but a remote member. She was the first member of the I guess you could call it the fleet of the Straw Hats. She was the first member of that, the extension of the Straw Hat crew.
Mm-hmm.
They confirmed it as such when saying as they were leaving Alabasta that she will always be a member of the crew and she will always have a place in the crew. She is the first member of the fleet of the Straw Hats outside of the main crew. And I think that that was supposed to be a foreshadowing that like there was something bigger about her because her combat power was never much. She never had much of combat power. But what she does have is she has that influence, that political power.
That
She
charisma.
that Riz, that royal Riz. But
Mhm.
and that's something that like it wasn't just an emotional connection to Vivi that let her be part of the Straw Hats. There was something intangible that allowed her to stay a member of the Straw Hats. And that's the thing. That's what I think. I mean, Conqueror's hockey aside, that's what I think makes a member of the Straw Hats is it's not combat power, it's not political power, it's not any one of those things. It's something intangible. If you want to be a member of the Straw Hats, you have something intangible to the Straw Hats that they value.
Well, it's not even about them valuing it. It's just like
That has
you
value, I
are
guess I
a
should say.
companion, you are a friend, you are a loved one
Yeah.
of the family.
Yes. And being a loved one in the family isn't even enough to be a part of the Straw Hats. You have to have something, some quality that makes you a part of them. And it's not even just family because Windmill Village, they're all family to Luffy. They're all family to Luffy, but they're not parts of the Straw Hat crew. They might be under the protection of the Straw Hat crew, but they're not a part of the crew. Same with the doctor that's at the beginning of the Red Line.
Well, he's a part of
He's not
Roger's
a
crew.
he's a part of Roger's crew, yeah.
Okay,
But he's
speaking of
not a part
Roger's
of the
crew,
Straw Hats crew. He's under the protection of the Straw Hats crew. And
speaking of
there's a
Roger's crew,
difference.
speaking of Roger's crew, what do you think happened to the rest of them? Because we only really know the whereabouts of a handful of Roger's old crew. The rest of them are just scattered to the winds, and we don't know anything about what happened to them.
I think a lot of them are towards Laughtail, which is part of why I think
My
that
theory,
there's not just one more. I think a lot of them are on Elbaf. I think a lot of them might be on that last
my
island
my
before
theory,
Laughtail.
my theory is that the man marked by flames, the one who has custody of the last road poneglyph, is Scopper Gaban, the third in command of the Roger Pirates.
I mean, there's also just the speculation that it's just Dragon.
I mean, I guess, but at the same time, that would be the boring answer.
Has
Yes!
there been any confirmation that Dragon was a part of the Roger Pirates?
No,
Has there
he
been
was
any
never part.
hints?
No,
He was
he
never
wasn't
part of
part of the Roger Pirates, but that doesn't mean he can't have a road poneglyph.
So the last road poneglyph was originally at Fishman Island, as was proven by the Roger flashback with Odin.
That is a big thing. It is that last road poneglyph they need. I still think that Shanks is in possession of it somehow. But it could very well be the Revolutionary Army has the possession of one of the poneglyphs, and that's part of why they're such a threat to the world government. That could be part of what that gives them enough clout to be in opposition of the world government, is that they have one of those road poneglyphs. That's a very good possibility, Jack.
I don't really agree with that necessarily, but I do think I like the idea of the final road poneglyph being a wandering thing guarded by a specific person.
That is something too, is we have not, I don't think we've yet really seen Dragon in action. We don't know what Dragon's powers are. Like, he could just be a hockey user. He could have a devil fruit that we don't know about. I think it's been hinted at the fact that he has a devil fruit, but we don't know for sure.
I'm pretty sure I would not be shocked if Dragon had a devil fruit or Conqueror's hockey for that matter.
Yeah. And I would go so far as to say that if Dragon has a devil fruit, it's a Logia type.
Well, no.
The wind fruit and the weather fruit are the common
wind or weather, either wind or
theories.
Weather. Yeah, like wind or weather or mist or something of the sort. I think that if Dragon has a devil fruit,
wind
it's
and
along
weather
those lines.
are the theories based off of Logtown and him driving away Smoker.
Not just Logtown, but there's a lot of places.
A lot of circumstantial evidence, yes.
But here's the thing too. On those lines of him driving away Smoker is that he could just have hockey, and he's skilled enough with hockey enough. Like, he could be more along the lines of Garp, where he's just so skilled with hockey that he is a walking army. And that's something too. Like, you can't discount that fact.
There's no question that Dragon has hockey. The question is whether or not he has Conqueror's hockey, which I believe he does.
No, that's not the question either.
If he's a leader of the Revolutionary Army, there's no doubt that he has Conquerors.
No,
that is not even a question.
The question is hockey his primary thing, or does he have other stuff that he does?
Exactly. That's what I'm getting at. Thank you, Fuzzy. It's that he either just has hockey and he's on the same par as Shanks is, or he has hockey and then something else. And that's something that I think that Dragon could end up being one of, if not the, I think he would be before the world government. I think the world government, like you said, Jack, I agree with you that the world government will be the final hurdle for Luffy. But I think that Dragon may come in somewhere along the line to be a big bad, a big antagonist of stopping Luffy for one reason or another.
I seriously doubt that Dragon will be an antagonist in any way, shape, or form.
We'll see. We have not seen Luffy and Dragon interact literally at all.
Well,
we have never seen Luffy and Dragon interact.
They interacted once briefly at Logtown, but that's it.
Barely. That's not even...
Well, the thing is, Luffy doesn't know who Dragon is.
Exactly. He has no idea who his father really is.
Well, no.
I do find it hilarious that he didn't even think he had a father.
Yes, no, that's what I was going to point out, is that his reaction to hearing about Garp revealing his dad is, oh, I have a dad?
I do find that very funny.
Yeah, let's be honest, Luffy was raised more or less on his own by Windmill Village, by the Thieves Guild, by his brothers by choice, mind you, and by his grandfather. There is his mother, of course, we can speculate about that all day. We don't know who his mother is, but his father has been basically on a milk run the entire time. He has been absentee as fuck.
Look, there are
Dragon needed to take a smoke break, okay?
There are two things in One Piece.
He needed to go get cigarettes from the store.
There are two things in One Piece that we hold as self-evident. dead mothers, and absentee fathers.
Yeah,
Yes.
everybody's got daddy and or mommy issues.
I mean,
Honestly,
can we just bash Yasop a little? He's like the worst
Yeah,
dad
the
in the
fact that he
series.
did not want to meet Usopp that one time he had the opportunity, he's like, I'm not ready to meet him. I don't want to meet him.
Yasop is just one of the worst absentee dads because, he had so many opportunities to meet up with his son, and yet he refused to do so.
That's one thing that I have a theory about. I think that Luffy's crew and Shanks' crew will have a conflict, and it's going to be Usopp versus Yasop at some point.
So
That is going to happen because they're both snipers.
My
They're
money
both of
is
similar skill sets.
we're gonna get a 10-round Davy back fight, and the Yasop versus Usopp round is going to be a sniper contest, and we're going to get all sorts of fun banter between them. And I wish Oda would actually lean in.
I want
I wish Oda would lean into Usopp's feelings of abandonment, but I am willing to bet that he is not going to do that.
Because, he literally didn't even show up when his wife died.
Yeah, no, I agree. Again, I think
So it's a
Yasop is the
Hohenheim
worst
scenario.
absentee dad in the series.
No, because Hohenheim had a valid reason.
I only say that because I've been rewatching Full Metal Alchemist. That's the only thing.
If you've been rewatching, you'll know Hohenheim has a very good reason for not being a part of his children's lives, whereas
Yasop's is adventure shrug.
But that's the thing is I feel like bringing it back to Shanks' crew, there's a lot of Shanks' crew that have parallels to the Straw Hat crew.
Oh no, that's agreed. Ben Beckman is supposed to be the parallel to Nami.
Or wait, really? Nami? Or Zoro?
Nami. Because Ben Beckman, according to Oda, is the smartest character in the East Blue, even above Kuro and Nami.
But wouldn't that make him so much better of a foil to Zoro? Because he's the second in command.
Yeah, I'm with Dylan here. Zoro is an idiot first mate, and Ben Beckman is implied to be
a genius second mate.
Yes.
Genius first
So
mate.
I think they would be good foils for each other, and it would be a good matchup for a fight because on face value, on the surface, you wouldn't know who's going to win that fight.
I get that. At the same time, I remember back before we learned about Cross Guild, the theory was that Mihawk was going to join up with Shanks and Zoro was going to fight him.
Well, Mihawk didn't join up with Shanks, so your theory is already bullshit.
I know. I am aware.
So then why are you drawing from that for your reasoning?
Look. We don't know who Shanks' navigator is. We don't know.
But that's
we only know
too,
4 members of Shanks' primary crew. We only know, actually 5 technically, if we count the medic. But we only know Shanks himself, the medic, Ben Beckman, who's the first mate, Lucky Roo, and Yasop. And we don't know their Lucky Roo and Yasop's specific roles on the crew beyond Lucky Roo being muscle and Yasop being a sniper.
Let's be honest, Lucky Roo is going to be the foil for Sanji.
That would not be surprising since
it would not be surprising if Lucky Roo is the chef, yeah, now that I think about it.
No, not even that he's the chef. I think it's going to be maybe a level deeper than that. Because Lucky Roo loves to eat, and Sanji loves to cook.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
No, that I can see where you're coming from there, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so and that's what I think is I don't think there's going to be necessarily direct parallels. There might be a couple direct parallels with Shanks' crew and the Straw Hat crew, but I think it's more going to be that Shanks' crew has a lot of foils for Straw Hat crew. They're going to be a lot of opposites. Like, again, with Beckman being the smart second in command, whereas Zoro is the stupid second in command. Well, not stupid, but clueless second in command.
No, he's stupid. He's like a savant at fighting.
Himbo.
But he is absolutely an
himbo.
Yeah, that's actually, Fuzzy actually gave me a great idea for phrasing this, is the savant being Zoro versus the genius. The savant versus the genius. That would be a good foil. And then, of course, the glutton versus the chef in terms of Rue versus Sanji. Like, I do think that there's going to be foils, there's going to be good matchups, because I think there's been a lot of times where there's been opponents to the Straw Hat Crew where there are parallels. There are, like, I mean, I guess
Okay,
Hachi versus Zoro is a good one because Hachi
okay,
was supposed
okay,
to be a
okay,
sword
okay,
master
okay,
versus
okay, okay.
Zoro.
Okay,
That's what I'm getting at.
speaking of crew parallels, the Blackbeard pirates. Who do y'all think is going to match up against who? Because there's some obvious matchups. There's like Luffy versus Blackbeard, obvious. Zoro versus Shiryu, obvious. Chopper versus Doc Q.
That's another
Usopp
one. Chopper
versus
versus Doc Q. That's a good foil because Doc Q is more of a plague spreader.
yeah,
Chopper is the cure.
and then you got like what's it? Oh, shit.
I think Sanji. I mean, I think
So,
Nami is gonna end up facing up against the girl member of the crew.
no, I
Of
think Nami is going to fight Lafitte because Lafitte is the navigator of the Blackbeard pirates.
maybe that would be a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably.
I think, and given that Kuzan is revealed to be the 10th Titanic captain, I think Robin is going to fight Kuzan.
That would be very
That would
interesting.
be very like thematically appropriate. Yes.
That would be
Which
very
would mean
interesting.
that Sanji goes against Devon, because Devon is a shapeshifter.
Oh, right, because that would have to be like Sanji and his entire thing about not hitting women.
Yeah. So that would be
Ooh, that could be
interesting.
very interesting. That's a fight I'm looking forward to a lot. There's two fights that I'm very much looking forward to. I mean, the world government we know is
You
going to
also
happen
forgot
one way or
Usopp
another.
versus Van Augur.
Oh, I was going to say that. That was the one I was stumbling on. It was Usopp versus Van Augur. And then, of course, Burgess versus Jinbei, because they're both the helmsmen of their respective
No,
crews.
no. Well, yes, but also Burgess versus Frankie.
Ooh. Ooh, that would be good.
Here's the thing, like, I don't think Frankie is. I mean, yeah, he's got like Super Frankie and everything, and Mecha Frankie, whatever the fuck it's called.
General Frankie.
General Frankie, that's the word I was looking for. But I like Frankie. I think he's gonna take a little bit more of a backseat as time goes on.
So the thing is, the Straw Hat crew has 10 members, and Teach has 10 Titanic captains. So I do feel like one of them is not going to factor into the fights. And of them, I think the one that's not going to factor in is Senwell Wolf.
No, I think it might be possible that Jinbei's going to be fighting Wolf.
Ooh, that would be good.
See, that's what I mean. Is like
So-
matchup wise, like
Oh,
with
you know what?
Frankie specifically, I think that Frankie is one of those characters who starts out in the combat role, but as time goes on, he's fading into the back a lot like Brooke has. Like Brooke has a little bit of combat prowess, and so does Frankie. I think they're very equatable in terms of their level in the Straw Hat crew. I think that eventually Nami and Usopp and Chopper are going to surpass those two in terms of combat strength.
The thing is, Brooke has not had a single solo fight in the entire series outside of his debut. I do think he is going to fight one of the Blackbeard pirates, though, specifically Vasco Shot, because they represent opposite sides of the hedonism coin.
Right, so I think Pizarro as the island man.
Pizarro would probably be the one who sits out of individual matchups.
I think that would be Frankie's matchup. For a very specific reason. Because Pizarro is mindless manipulation of an island, whereas Frankie is the engineer. Frankie has plans for whatever he builds. Pizarro just manipulates an island mindlessly to his whim.
Also,
so that would be a good matchup in the sense of mindless manipulation of the land versus very planned manipulation of mechanisms.
You are making one important assumption with regards to these matchups and the numerical disparity.
Yes.
You are assuming that Kuzan is not going to defect.
Ooh,
that is a good point. But here's the thing. I think that Kuzan would come to the fight, but will he finish the fight?
Yes, that is the thing, but well, no. Because if anything happens, Kuzan's defection is going to happen as a consequence of Garp and his, all the things that have happened with Garp recently. So it's entirely possible that Kuzan is just going to leave the Blackbeard Pirates before the fight even happens.
I do think that Kuzan
could
is
be
either going to
possible.
defect or he's going to fight Robin or both.
I think thematically that I like what you're
His
getting
only
onto,
thematic
Fuzzy. I really like what you're getting onto thematically, Fuzzy, because I do think that Garp will cause Kuzan to question what the fuck he's doing. Because
This
Garp
is
is
also
such
making another assumption that Kuzan isn't just a member of Sword who is in deep cover right now.
Yeah.
Again, same deal that I'm talking about. That
I think
like Kuzan will be, if not convinced by Garp, then reminded of his mission. Because Garp and Kuzan have a very close relationship that we've discovered with the flashbacks. And so I think that with Kuzan and Garp having such a close relationship, I don't think Garp is dead. I think Garp has been taken captive by the Blackbeard pirates, and Kuzan has a chance to converse with Garp on a deeper level. And
I swear to God, if Garp dies before the epilogue of the series, without getting the retirement he deserves, I'm going to flip the table.
You already know the trope that anybody who says they're about to retire just dies.
Well,
like that.
Okay, technically they are already retired, legally speaking.
Yeah, Garp retired over the time skip, remember? But I was trying to say, if Kuzan, if that's a big if Kuzan fights any of the Straw Hat Pirates, it's going to be Robin, because that is the most thematically appropriate matchup for Kuzan. Period. Amongst the Straw Hat.
Here's the thing, too. All of that could entirely go out the window, and people get matched up randomly. I
don't think it's going to be matched up randomly. It's going to be at least somewhat thematically appropriate.
We could have a bit of a CP9 situation, like an Ennie's Lobby situation, where the matchups are not great initially, but like
there is a switch up. Yeah.
Yes, where they like actively change.
That's what I'm talking about, Fuzzy. That's exactly what I was getting at. Thank you for that. That was awesome. But yeah, exactly that, where it could start where it's just like whoever is there at the time matches up with whoever is there, and then eventually some of the fights will come together, 3v3, 2v2, however it may be, 2v3, whatever, where it kind of ends up, they come together and they're like, oh, you know what, I'm actually going to take this guy because I hate this guy, or because, oh, I got something I want to talk to this guy about, and then they split back up into their prospective fights. So like it could end up being matchups shuffle around a little bit as the fight goes on. Because that also happened on Wano too, where it's like it wasn't the same person fighting the same person all the time.
Oh God, I still remember fucking
Wano. If like the only part I really truly fully distinctly remember about Wano is that whole fight was a fustercluck.
Well, yeah, there's a whole ass raid. Speaking of the raid, I still remember people bitching and shitting about the whole raid failing theory and the absolute fuckery that was, which was hilarious.
And that's my point. Is I think that it's gonna end up being that the Straw Hats raid Fulaled.
I wouldn't be shocked, honestly.
Especially because, as Fuzzy was saying, Pizarro is going to end up being a part of that fight, and Pizarro is more or less glued to Fulaled because he's been controlling that island.
Yeah, he has.
That's another possibility. It's possible that Pizarro gets taken out before the major battle even begins.
That is probable, honestly, because, again, there's 11 main members of Blackbeard's crew, Blackbeard and his Titanic captains, but there's 10 main Straw Hats. So there is a numerical.
There's another possibility.
Oh,
they could have either recruit someone or have a temporary member.
Bartolomeo.
Fucking love Bartolomeo.
I think Bartolomeo's going to come back. He's been mentioned so much, like in terms of off-screen action. I think he might come back and join the Straw Hats for a fight or two.
So honestly, I think Vivi's going to rejoin the Straw Hats.
That could be a case too. And who knows? I honestly think, and this is my own theory, I have nothing to back this up with, I think Vivi has Conqueror's Haki.
Honestly, if anyone is a Straw Hat...
The problem with that is that, well, first of all, the third member with Conqueror's Haki is going to be God D. Usopp, Thank you very
Yes,
much.
obviously.
But
Obviously.
Vivi, the problem with Conquerors is that even if she has it, she doesn't know how to use it. She's not primarily a fighter. That's not her deal.
No, she's a diplomat
That's
and
the
ruler.
thing, is like, I don't think she's really gonna fight. I think it's gonna be more of a charisma match. It's really gonna be more of a battle of words, a battle of wits, as it were. Like, I don't think if she's ever in a part of a Straw Hat battle, I don't think she's gonna be a combatant. I think it's gonna be something else.
To be fair to Vivi, she was a combatant the one time she was like actively engaged in a battle with the Straw Hats during Alabasta.
Yeah,
Like, she
with the
straight up took
Baroque
out
works,
2-number agents.
she was next to useless as a Baroque's Works agent against the Straw Hats. She had barely any combat prowess.
Well, remember, I think she was,
And that was before they even knew what hockey was.
Okay, so
Well,
Fuzzy, correct me if I'm wrong. Was she part of the number 9 pair or the number 10 pair? I think it was the number 9, right?
I don't remember exactly. I can look it up. I'm on the wiki
But
right
she took
now.
out both members of the Mr. 7 pair on her own while trying to defuse the bomb in Alabasta.
Even then, like, none of the members of Baroque Works knew what hockey was. None of the members of Baroque Works were able to use hockey.
Well,
It's a different level of combat. She, like, unless she learns really quick and very efficiently what hockey is and how to use it, I don't see her taking a combatant role on any level.
to be fair, Crocodile definitely knew what hockey was, but he just straight up jobbed to Luffy because he didn't realize that, or rather, he just was in the middle of a meltdown at that point.
No, he was not able to use hockey for one reason or another.
No, he was able to use it. It's just he didn't, like, he was being dumb about it.
He was being dumb, and he was also in the middle of just like a full-on meltdown at that point.
Part of me doesn't think that's accurate, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
Well, no, like, there were a lot of things happening. Part of it is also because, and this is something I've noticed with both Crocodile and Mihawk, is they kind of are implied to have sort of given up in many ways.
Well, it's a lot stronger with Crocodile because, like, during the cover story with I think it was Miss Golden Week, it was she straight up shows off their respective dreams, and Crocodile's dream was to become Pirate King, and maybe it still is, but he's long since given up on that dream since he was broken on the Grand Line, specifically fighting Whitebeard, who just absolutely destroyed Crocodile.
Oh man,
It's implied that
Whitebeard.
Whitebeard is the reason Crocodile has his scar.
Speaking of Whitebeard, can we talk about Marco?
Dude, Marco's great.
Do we think that Marco's gonna? I don't think he's gonna join the Straw Hats. I don't think that that's a possibility at all. But do we think that he's gonna come back? He came back in Wano. He helped in Wano for a little bit. But do we think he's ever gonna come back again?
Oda has set up a plot thread for Marco specifically, with regard to him going after, potentially going after and retrieving Weevil from captivity, because Weevil was captured by Admiral Dickface. I mean Admiral Greenbull.
You mean Admiral Longhair with the plants?
Yes, Admiral Dickface. I mean Admiral Greenbull.
Hey, he's not as much of a dick face. He just he likes to take advantage of
asshole-ish.
Yeah, he takes advantage of players in the game that are weaker than him, and anytime someone actually matches up to his strength, he's like, "Fuck no, I'm out." And that's kind of funny more than it is intimidating.
He's also a racist asshole.
Yeah, there is that. But
remind me, what was his specific form of racism?
He basically said that the citizens of Wano have no human rights because they're not members of the world government.
Oh,
that's not racism. That's classism.
That's not.
No, that's racism. Like, the citizens of Wano have no human rights because they are not citizens of the world government. That is xenophobic racism.
It's xenophobia.
That's fascism adjacent.
Racism. It's fascism adjacent. Yes.
Regardless, it's still
not
very...
specifically tied to race, Jack.
It's bigotry. It's definitely
bigotry regardless.
some form.
It's about who's a citizen of the world government and not. It's not necessarily tied to race, Jack. Come on.
Regardless, he's still a bigoted dickhead.
Yeah, no, all isms are
We're not
inherently
trying to use
bigotry.
him.
Not
He
all
is
bigotry
also
is racism, but all isms are bigotry.
What about
he-
pacifism?
anyways.
I could go off on a rant about pacifism, but we do not. I'm supposed to be the
Sorry,
moderating
anyways.
influence
sorry, I
here.
had to. I'm sorry, I had to. I didn't mean to start something there. I just
anyways,
that was right there. It was low hanging fruit.
Anyways, he's Green Bull is also a not kind of simp, so that automatically makes him a dick.
Yeah, I honestly, like, in a perfect world, Kizaru would have won that fight, but Akainu had to win that fight because
You mean
of his.
Kuzan?
Yeah, Kuzan had to. I wish Kuzan had won that fight, but he had to lose because Akainu is. He has his point of view in the world. He has to win that fight so that he can further the world government's goal.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the only reason that Akainu actually won that fight is because of the plot.
Well, I think Oda had.
So
Well, again, remember, Akainu's Devil Fruit has an inherent advantage over Kuzan's.
not necessarily. No,
No, it doesn't. Yeah, exactly what Fuzzy said. Not necessarily. Like, literally, they're built up to be more or less equals on the battlefield, and the only defining factor of who won the battle between Kuzan and Akainu, or Aokiji and Akainu, if we want to get technical, was who had the drive to lead the Marines and the world government further. It was all about willpower within the world government. And Aokiji did not have that willpower within the world government. He had his own goals outside of the world government. So that's why Akainu ended up winning that.
and I don't think that Akainu's goals are necessarily the world government, but I think
No, they're not. He has law and order as a
Yeah.
goal. Aokiji had more of a freedom of the people tilt to him, and he already had doubts about the world government as a proper vehicle to exercise those goals. So that's why he lost, is because he didn't fully believe in the mission of the world government. Akainu fully believed in it because he thought that they were the vehicle to bring his version of law and order into the world. Does that make sense?
no. I'm completely with you there.
Sakazuki is a hardcore absolute justice supporter.
Exactly. He's a Batman.
No,
he's
let's
not
not
a
insult Batman.
That is
I
not
know, that was
Batman.
a joke. That was a joke.
Not Batman. No, absolute justice is like Azrael Batman, not Bruce Wayne Batman.
Even
Sure,
Azrael
whatever.
chilled out after a certain point.
I mean, like Dark Age of comic books Azrael.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Like-
no, like Akainu is very much the absolute justice. The law is order in the sense that it's not like order is the law, it's the law is order. If that Blah! I am the law.
Yes.
But that's something that Akainu very much. I don't think he's going to come to this conclusion until the end of whatever battle he has. Maybe it's with the Straw Hat crews, maybe it's with Shank's crew, but at the end of a battle where he gets thoroughly beaten, he's going to come to that conclusion that maybe the world government
is 100% going to fight Luffy.
Yeah, well, maybe. But I think the conclusion he's going to come into at the end of said fight is going to be, maybe the world government doesn't know all the answers. Maybe the world government is lying to me. Like, I
Avi the
think he's going to
baddies?
kind of have an enlightenment moment.
Are we the baddies?
Hans, are we the baddies?
Hans, are we the bad guys?
No. Hans, are we the baddies? You didn't
That's
see
British.
that? It's from a sketch comedy show, dude. That is British. You don't recognize the reference.
What?
You don't recognize the reference.
Do you have enemies of the states on City of Flowboats?
Shut up, Londa. Anyways, yeah. Fuck. Lost my train of thought.
You're
Oh,
welcome.
fucking Egghead. How many Vegapunks do you think are going to survive Egghead?
Well, 2 of them are already dead, aren't they?
Yeah,
According to
Shaka
text,
and
yes.
Pythagoras are dead.
Yeah.
Shaka was like an actual like living flesh body, but I think Pythagoras was like some form of android, right?
I think so. Pythagoras was also just completely obliterated, though, over the course of Egghead.
I
Like, his
do
main body was
think
destroyed and his head was
personally
all.
that Lilith is one of the ones that are going to die, but I think she's going to die heroically in opposition to what her character's been built up to be, because she's been built up to be like Lilith the evil kind of thing. Where
That
I think
is
that she's
literally
going to,
her character introduction, yes.
yeah, I think she's going to end up being like a noble sacrifice.
I think if any of the Vegapunks survive besides the original, it's going to be Atlas.
Atlas is also some form of android, I believe.
Yes, but Atlas is also just the most fun and sympathetic of the Vegapunks.
I also prefer not to speculate about this because I know Oda literally pays attention to fan theories, and it feels like he almost goes out of his way to disprove fan theories but still make the plot work.
You really think Oda's going to give a flying fuck about us?
He's
No, I think he gives enough of a fuck to completely disprove whatever the majority is.
no. He sometimes people have fan theories that he later confirms. There's a lot of times people have guessed stuff in SBSs that he denied, but only in a like funny way.
Yeah. But that's something I do think that Lilith is not going to make it out of there, even though Lilith is probably my favorite of the Vegapunks.
I'm 50-50 on Lilith surviving. I am very certain. I am fairly certain that York is not going to survive.
I don't know. I feel like York might survive ironically,
Mm-hmm.
in the sense that York will end up kind of realizing that she was a dumb bitch to make the deal that she did, and then
I
like
don't think York will ever regret her actions. I do think
not regret, but change her mind.
I don't think that's going to happen. If York does stick around, it will be as an antagonist.
York is a bit too dangerous to allow to survive.
Well, but
Yeah.
you know that Luffy's not going to kill someone out of
Luffy
cold blood
won't,
like
but like he's got members of his crew who are very happy to pull
Zoro
that
and
trigger.
Sanji absolutely would kill you.
Sanji wouldn't because he's too stupid he's too much of a idiot simp. Yes,
You can call him a simp. It's fine. We
Who
all
was it
agree
that
on
Sanji was supposed to marry? Was that Sugar?
It was pudding.
Pudding. I do think that Sanji's going to end up coming full circle and coming back for Pudding. But you never know, because I think Pudding was the closest that Sanji got to true love, even though he was played for most of it. I think Pudding ended up actually liking Sanji. That's just my little pet theory.
It's canonical.
That's
No,
my little
that's
little
not a
pet
theory.
theory
That's canon.
yeah.
It is
No.
canonical that
My
Pudding fell
pet
for
theory
Sanji.
is that Sanji will come back around for Pudding, and they'll end up getting married.
Okay, so
That's my pet theory.
The funny thing about Pudding is that she is actually going to be relevant to the story again because the Blackbeard pirates kidnapped her.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Is she's gonna come back into the story, and Sanji's gonna actually like start to really. I mean, he already did fall for her, but he's gonna start to really like fall for her, in the sense that like we got to keep her around because this is my wife.
Maybe that's possible. I do think that if Sanji hooks up with anyone at the end of the series, it'll probably be Pudding.
He did have all of his memories of her erased, though, so that does put a damper on things.
No.
That's part of what makes me think that it's going to happen.
No. She specifically erased the memory of her kissing him. That's the memory specifically that she erased. She didn't erase all of the memories, just that specific one.
And that's what makes me think it's going to happen. Because she erased those memories, it's going to end up coming back, and he's going to get those memories back and be like, why did you erase that memory? do you like me that much too? And then it's going to end up becoming this full circle kind of love story. Because I know Oda is not big into romance. I think that that's like, in general with romance, I think the simplest answer is the right answer with Oda, and I think that that's the
with Oda,
simplest answer.
he's any romance that happens is going to be in the epilogue.
Oda is
100%.
not
I
a
don't think it's gonna
romance
happen.
writer.
I think there could be hints to it and like allusions to it in the main story, but in the epilogue, that's when we're gonna find out.
Like, I'm not going to speculate on Straw Hat romances because that's a rabbit hole
That being
and a
said,
half.
that being said, I will give one more theory. I do think that Luffy's gonna end up with Hancock.
That's assuming
think
he ends up with anyone at all.
okay. What do you think is the over/under on Luffy surviving the end of the series?
I think he'll survive.
Yes.
Honestly, Oda's not the type to write that kind of ending to the series.
I
I don't
also
think.
think that Luffy Hancock is going to be very, very similar. Maybe definitely not the same, but I think it's going to be similar to the Goku Chi-Chi.
No, I was just about to say it's not going to be similar. It is going to be even worse in that I'm pretty sure neither of them are like Luffy is just not going to have the interest, and Hancock is just too much of a coward to actually do anything.
Possibly. Hard to say. Also, I'm pretty sure Hancock will probably just adopt S-Snake as her daughter.
That could happen if the Seraphim end up surviving that long.
Yeah, there's a little non-zero chance they're not quite gonna make it.
No, that's fair. I think if the Seraphim do survive, they will probably be adopted by their respective donors or relatives of said donors.
That much seems like.
See, I would not doubt Mihawk's Seraphim getting adopted by Mihawk. That makes
Honestly,
a
that
lot
would
of
be
sense.
so fucking
No,
funny.
Especially
I think
because of
Mihawk's
Mihawk's
Seraphim would hate
relationship
himself.
with the Ghost Girl.
No.
Well, no, here's the thing. Mihawk's relationship with the Ghost Girl makes
With
me
Perona?
think of Perona makes me think of Mihawk maybe adopting his Seraphim in a similar way. Also, I think Perona will end up getting Zoro to love her.
So here's the thing. Zoro is
Oh,
is a standard shonen protagonist. He is a savant, he's an idiot, and he has a harem. One moment, I will be right back.
What is Zoro's harem? What?
So I'm pretty sure Fuzzy is referring specifically to Tashigi, Perona, and Hiyori.
Wait, who's Hiyori again?
The princess in Wano, Momo's sister.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, no, literally, Zoro canonically has the most potential love interests in the series.
He has Riz. He has unintentional Riz.
He's
as I
got
like to say.
Conquerors, and we've established that Conquerors is a charisma bonus aura.
Yep. I do find it funny though. Also,
But
Sanji
yeah,
would almost certainly try to kill Zoro over this.
Are we talking about Captain Tashigi too?
Yes, Tashigi
Yeah.
is also considered in that.
Yeah, Captain Tashigi.
Kuina, Rip, Perona, and Hiyori, who is Momo's sister.
Yes.
I think Peroni is going to end up winning that.
Peroni?
Yes, I think in terms of beer. Shut up.
That's a
whatever her fucking name is.
Perona. You were
Perona.
one letter off. One letter.
I get you. Perona. I think that Perona is going to end up winning his heart one way or another, but you never know.
Again,
she's also just a simp. She's a simp.
I think Perona has the most sibling-like dynamic with Zoro out of any of those.
No. We are reading two different series, brother.
Tashigi has more of a sibling.
No. Again, we are reading different series.
Who do you think? Wait. I want to hear Fuzzy's thoughts on this. What do you think?
I think none of them have a sibling dynamic. I think they all want that. All want Zoro's fourth sword, if you know what I'm saying.
Okay, if Zoro
they want the moss-headed sword.
Okay, if Zoro did a four sword style, where do you think the fourth sword would go? Would he be wielding it with his foot, or would he be wielding it between his ass cheeks?
No.
Okay, I hate that imagery, but it's
the fourth sword. The fourth sword would literally be his dick just coated in hockey as a weapon.
So what I hate the most about that is that mechanically speaking, that is not impossible based on how the magic system of this series works.
What I said or what Jack said?
Both!
Yes.
And that's what makes me angry.
This is what
Neither of
alcohol
those are
does to us.
technically impossible.
Yep. 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 Oh my god.
Four sword style.
So here's the thing. Oda did a drawing of what Zoro wielding four swords would look like, and he drew the fourth sword between Zoro's cheeks. That is Oda. That is one of Oda. That is what Oda said.
But no, like,
Oh my god.
what I'm trying to tell you is that literally all of them want to bone down. Maybe Zoro might see it more in a sibling fashion, but they absolutely
Zoro is so dense.
You got okay,
fair.
Jack. We're forgetting a third option, or technically a fourth option here. He could bang all three of them.
No,
Okay.
I think honestly, they might be willing to make that compromise if they all meet
that's
up.
what I'm saying. Is if Zoro is the stereotypical shonen protag, what's a stereotypical shonen protag thing to do? Have a harem.
Yeah, no.
No, that's not stereotypical shonen protag. They pick, they choose.
No,
they have a single decision.
The problem with the stereotypical shonen protag is the authors are all cowards and are never willing to commit to that route.
Yep.
No, but I think there is a non-zero chance that they will just. Oh, okay. Do you guys want to hear the most drunk One Piece theory?
Go for it. They can't beat us.
Do it.
And I'm saying this as someone who is actually completely sober.
Do it.
So, are you guys aware of the manga known as Chin Piece?
No.
Chin Piece
Oh no.
is a spin-off manga of a fan of Luffy who named Chimpy, and his power is that he can stretch only one specific part of his body.
Oh no.
Oh god, no.
He is a child,
no.
and he can stretch exactly the part you're thinking of.
Oh no.
Why?
It's a parody. It's a fucking parody.
It is, but it is canon, so it does exist.
Why is it canon?
It does exist in the
One Piece multiverse.
Yes, because
the One Piece verse.
Yeah, and it does take place somewhere in the future of One Piece. So,
future.
See you in the future.
Here is my theory.
Oh no.
We know that devil fruits are based on stories.
Mm-hmm.
So my theory is that Chimpy, the genital stretching chin piece protagonist, has eaten accidentally the human fruit model Monkey D. Luffy.
Huh.
Really? that's you're not.
It's an interesting theory for sure.
That was much more serious than I thought it would be.
Yeah, but like,
Oh, you know what? On the topic of like love interests and stuff,
Yeah,
who
but
does Nami end up with?
Vivi.
Oh, you think so?
if Oda
So listen,
had, if
all of the East Blue Straw Hats, except for technically Nami, have Uptown Girl type love interests. Usopp has Kaya. Zoro has a couple of them, including Hiyori. Sanji has Pudding.
technically Zoro's
Luffy has Boa. It would be in theme for Nami to have a princess love interest.
technically,
Hmm.
actually, hang on. If I think about it, 3 out of 4 are royalty for Zoro.
Yep.
Because technically, Thriller Bark is considered a nation, and Perona is the princess of Thriller Bark.
Mm-hmm.
Hiyori is the princess of Wano, and Kuina
Yep.
is also related to the Wano royal family.
Yep.
Kuina is also related to Zoro, by the way. Just
They're distant cousins, yes.
You're forgetting one major detail.
Yeah.
Nico Robin.
I mean, Robin's commonly shipped with either Frankie or Jinbei.
well,
I
no,
don't think. No, that is such a stretch. Where did
there
you
is
come up
no.
with that?
That's the crack ship. There is no way Robin is straight. Just putting that
Yes,
out there.
exactly. I am such a fan of Nico Robin and Nami. I think that could happen.
I think Nami
I
might be a
don't
bit
think-
too young for Robin's taste.
Yeah, I don't agree with Nami and Robin. I do think Robin. I don't think Robin is 100% straight.
I think it's more likely than fucking Nami and Vivi.
No, Nami
No.
and Vivi were like absolutely like very very close the entire
Yeah,
time.
no. There's a lot of basis for Nami and Vivi.
There's a lot of
There's
like
a
subtext.
strong basis.
There's a lot of subtext
Yeah.
there. They took
Remember,
a lot of
most
bats
of their
together.
relationship was established like really early in the series, like over 20 years ago.
Let me just put this out there. Nami and Vivi did take all of their baths together. Nami and Robin do not.
Yes.
Just putting that out there.
Like, I agree with you that Robin is probably not straight, but that does not rule out her being bi.
Yeah, but like I feel like if she ends up with anyone, it's not gonna be like I don't think it's gonna be a member of the crew. If it is anyone.
No, that's
Well,
fair.
then it wouldn't be Vivi either, because Vivi's a member of the crew.
Well, I said Robin, not Nami.
Oh.
I can buy Nami and
Yeah.
Nami and Vivi. Robin, I don't know.
Robin's hard to pin down.
I mean, Chopper has like at least someone he has a crush on now, which is interesting.
Yeah.
That one.
I mean, it's to be
mink
fair,
girl.
that's the only character who would be feasible for him. Because, like, he's a reindeer who became part human.
Well,
So,
no,
like,
like the fact that he's attracted to minks in general is basically.
A result of that.
Well, no, it basically confirms that. Yeah, he's like probably would be okay with a mink.
Give him
Yeah.
carrot.
No,
I
He
don't
had
think
some reindeer meat.
Not the
remember?
stick. Give him carrot. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. It was a joke.
Yeah.
He doesn't want the stick. He wants the carrot. No.
No, to be fair, he has a sibling relationship with Carrot. That's pretty established.
I'm joking. But also, I mean, remember, Oda has talked about the fact that he does not care about the romantic
He
attachment.
doesn't, but
of
I
his
do
characters.
believe there's like he's probably gonna do something.
Yeah.
It doesn't
seen
mean
theories.
it does not mean that all of his characters will have a romantic interest by the end. And
Mhm.
I think that would honestly be a good ending to the series. Like it's a trope in a lot of anime and manga that everybody ends up with a love interest when not everybody needs to end up with a love interest.
No, I
Like, I think,
absolutely do believe
like
that.
on the, like we can joke and everything, but I think Nami's true love is money.
No, that's just the canon shit.
That's canonical. That's not even a joke. That's like
Yeah, no, Nami's true love interest is money. Like, if she is rich and wealthy, she does not need anything else. And I think that Oda will follow through with that. I don't think Nami's going to end up with a real love interest. And I think it's the same thing with Nico Robin. She's going to end up with research being her fucking love, and knowledge and science and whatever.
Honestly, I don't think it's really the best idea to like try to make a firm theory on what Oda's going to do for like endgame pairings or anything like that. But what is
That's
fun
my
is
point.
to make theories about how Egghead's going to go down and the absolute shit stomping that Zoro is going to give Lucci, because that's going to be fucking great.
Yeah, no, Lucci does not know what he's just gotten himself into.
No, I think Zoro, in terms of his hockey ability, is going to end up being on the same level as Shanks.
No, here's
I
the
don't
thing.
know about that, but he's going to clown on Lucci.
No,
for
he
sure.
he might end up on the Shanks level. Like, remember, Zoro and Dylan, you weren't here for this conversation, but let me present to you an interesting little piece of trivia.
I'll be right back.
Of the
All right, go.
of both Armament and Conquerors, Zoro literally started using them, the advanced forms, without even knowing what hockey was.
Exactly.
He used,
And I think
the
in terms of
advanced
parallels to Roger's crew, he is the Dark King Raleigh,
yes,
where he has that natural talent for hockey, and he's going to be the savant of hockey with the crew.
no, because like he started using advanced armament in Alabasta,
Yes.
canonically in the fight against Mr. One, and he started using advanced conquerors before even Luffy displayed conquerors at Eni's lobby against Giraffe Man.
Yes.
So canonically,
And it's funny how in Enna's lobby, it's funny that you mentioned that, because Zoro ended up matching up with Giraffe Man and still beating him no problem. So I think like Luffy beating Lucci without even knowing what hockey was. I mean, he got second gear, but that wasn't even technically hockey.
I want to even
That
like
means
I want to go one step further. I would posit that there's a non-zero chance that even in Eni's lobby, Zoro could have taken Lucci.
I would not doubt that. I also think that Sanji at this point could take Lucci.
I'm pretty sure, like, there's a
At this
pretty
point,
decent,
at this current
yeah,
point.
no, there's a pretty decent chunk of the Straw Hats that could take Lucci.
And Lucci has no idea. Lucci's probably gotten stronger since Enni's lobby, but so have the rest of the Straw Hats.
I just
and I think the power scaling, Lucci's kind of had linear. The rest of the Straw Hats have had exponential.
Let me just like, there's one thing I want to happen, and knowing Oda, it's going to happen, and I cannot wait to see it. Since Luffy is a Zoan, what happens if Luffy eats a Rumble Ball?
Oh, that could be thick. And Luffy would eat a Rumble Ball too, even on accident. He would do it on accident and be like, food!
No, if they find out, I feel like Luffy and Chopper would be like, let's do some science.
Yeah. No, Chopper would be like, let's do some science. Luffy would be like, oh, you're gonna give me something new to eat?
But yeah, so here's the thing. The implication behind the Rumble Ball is that ODing on the Rumble Ball just gives you your awakening. And that Chopper is almost certainly an awakened zone. Because
yes, he can turn into giant.
Yes, Monster Point is identical to the 4 jailers from Impel Down, who are confirmed.
Not quite identical, but very similar. Yeah.
Well, no, pre-time skip Monster Point.
Yes.
Mindless and very strong and very large, and closer to hybrid than pure animal. The thing is, now that Luffy has... There's also 2 things. First, we now know for a fact that even though he has control of Monster Point, Chopper has not achieved a full awakening. And there's a very simple reason for that. He doesn't have a deity halo. Which we have seen thus far, every fully awakened Zoan, of which we have seen, I believe, 4. No, 5.
So Luffy, Lucci, Kaku, and who else?
2 of the
Sengoku.
5 elders. Oh, 6 if we count Sengoku.
Was
And here's the
Sengoku
thing,
awakened?
Sengoku-
I don't think Sengoku was awakened.
I don't
He
know
was.
if he is, but he probably
100%
is.
he was. He was the human Buddha. And I think the fact that Sengoku was another form of the human fruit, I think that he is the best model to go off of in terms of talking about Chopper's future growth.
Yeah, because, like, I mean, Chopper
Because they're
is the
both versions of the
pure...
human
Well,
fruit.
no, we've seen 2 versions of the human fruit, and both of them are based on literal gods.
Yeah, well, Chopper could be a different god that we just. I mean, he's as far as we know. I'm gonna preface it with this: as far as we know, Chopper is just the vanilla human.
Yes, that's why I'm like, we actually have no idea what his full awakening would be. But yes, 2 of the
I think
5
his
elders.
full awakening will have something to do with Adam.
That's possible. But no, 2 of the 5 elders, I believe it was 2, it might have been more than that, did have...
Yeah, no.
Huh?
I would not be shocked if most of the elders had Zoan fruits as their devil fruits.
Well, let me, like, look at the... Let me look up the picture of them.
And
Speaking
again,
of
I
which,
literally have zero fan theories behind this. I don't look at any fan theory stuff or anything.
Oh, no, I'm not
don't
doing
have
any
to.
fan theories. I'm just, like, basing it on just the reading. Okay, I'm looking at the panel. There is at least 1 human fruit model and 1 bird. There's also a bull that is not awakened
Among the 5 elders.
among the 5 elders, and the other one is either an elephant, like something with tusks, or it's just his mustache growing larger.
$10 says it's $10 says it's Mastodon.
That's possible. And there's one that's just a human face. But of these, all 5 of them look like Zoans, honestly.
Yeah,
I do think, and building off of what I said about Chopper, I think it's gonna be Chopper, but it could honestly be one of the other models of the human fruit. That it will be some personification of Adam. I do think that it's going to be Chopper, but who knows? I think Chopper, being the vanilla, quote unquote vanilla human fruit, that it's going to be something to do with Adam.
So we did get name drops of both Adam and Eve in Jewel Tree Adam and Sun Tree Eve.
Yes.
So I don't think that we're going to get like Adam and or Eve fruits.
Yeah, no, because like they're in this world they're trees.
We
Yeah, so
we don't
I
know
don't-
that though. We don't know that for sure though.
No, we know the
We
names
know.
of the
Well,
trees.
the only mentions
We
of
know
Adam
the
and
names
Eve
of the
have been
trees. The Adam tree and the Eve tree, like that could be different names. I don't know. This is just my thoughts.
But yeah,
I have not much to back it up.
I'm just looking at the image, like nothing else. There's 2 that have the halo. There's a bird and a humanoid shape, which I believe is Gandhi. Gorbachev is probably the elephant. Gandhi is the humanoid. I don't know. Actually, based on the positioning, the bird is, I think, the man with the Fu Manchu. I think. And I think good old J. Garcia Saturn is the bull, which makes the human one the young-looking one.
Honestly, I am curious as what their devil fruit is, or if the devil fruit effect is because of Eames fruits. Because Eames' ability is also very funky.
There's also a legitimate possibility that Eam just doesn't have a fruit and is weird just by themselves.
I
Eam is
honestly,
definitely,
Fuzzy,
however-
I see what you're getting. I see where you're getting from, Fuzzy, and I half agree with you. But part of me thinks in the world that Oda's building, I think some of it almost has to be a devil fruit. But I would not be surprised if it wasn't. That Eam was just some freaky thing that was born out of something else.
So can we all agree, though, that Eam was the subject of the Eternal Youth surgery from a previous user of Law's fruit?
I mean, it's possible
Yes,
that all 6 of
absolutely.
them are. There's a non-zero
Possible.
chance that all 6 of them are they just like held a monopoly on the
And it's not eternal youth, Jack. It's eternal life.
No, it is eternal youth surgery. It doesn't make them immortal, it just makes them ageless.
Then why are they old?
because that's how old they were when they got the surgery.
Yeah.
It would not make you younger. It's why one of them looks so much younger. He might be the same age as all of them. It's just that he got the surgery when he was younger.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember, there is a time gap. There is a time lag. Because they can't guarantee... Because the fruits are, at least the Zoans, but possibly some of the others, are confirmed to have some degree of sapience.
All I know is there's definitely going to be a part of one of the future arcs where they're going to tell us most of what happened before that 900-year gap.
No, the Void Century, absolutely, that's going to be before... Well, it might be concurrent with finding the One Piece, but something along those lines.
I think they're going to tell us most of it and leave out one or two major details, and then those details are going to fall into place when you find the One Piece.
Yeah, that's probably how it's going to go down.
They're going to give us bits and pieces to let the fans speculate, and then what's going to fill in the blanks is what's found in the One Piece. Because that's like, they talk about the fact that, I mean,
so you're saying
to borrow
a
quote from Brandon Sanderson, it's journey before destination with this series, and part of the journey is to the One Piece is finding out little bits and pieces of what's happened before the Void Century.
So what you're saying is Oda left all the answers in One Piece.
Ha ha ha! You motherfucker.
Yes.
That being said, I think we're almost at the 2-hour mark, aren't we?
Oh, we're about an hour and a half in.
Yeah, I think we can. Honestly think we can call it. I kind of need to go eat.
I think this is a good place to end it though, because we got it. We went through a bunch of stuff, and now we're kind of on the grand scale of theorizing. And I think if we go further than this, we're gonna delve into fanfic sections.
I don't say fanfic, but we're going to devolve into more crackish stuff for sure.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want us to go too far.
One more thing before we go, though. I do think that Luffy is going to beat Kizaru at Egghead.
Oh, absolutely. No, there's no chance that that's not going to happen. Because the fact that Luffy was already
it's not...
kind of... I do not think Kizaru is stronger than Kaido. And Gear 5 absolutely handed Kaido his ass.
Well, and here's the thing, too, is I mean, even disregarding the fight on Wano, I don't think Luffy is letting Kizaru get off easy at this point, because Kizaru was the one who handed them their ass at Sabaody. Luffy is gonna finish this fight. Not necessarily kill Kizaru, but put him down.
But also...
Oh no, he's going to wreck Kizaru.
You want to know something really fun about the statement? About some of the dialogue in this that I saw pointed out?
Oh yeah, it's Kizaru's manner of speech, right?
No, not Kizaru's manner of speech. There's a callback in that chapter.
Oh.
So...
Oh yeah, that. Yeah, go ahead.
You know how Luffy says, I'm 100 times stronger than I was at Sabaody?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
At Sabaody, when Rayleigh was going out to stop Kizaru, Shaki said, don't worry, he's 100 times stronger than you boys.
No, it wasn't when he was going out to stop Kizaru. It was when they first met Shaki, and they were trying to meet up with Rayleigh. But yeah, no, the quote is the same regardless.
Yes, the 100 times stronger is the callback there.
Yes.
Also, Shaki and Rayleigh are a great couple.
They are just
and I think it's a confirm that they're romantically involved. Yeah, they're married.
Yeah,
they're married.
They're married. Yeah. And they have a full-on. I think they have basically an open relationship too, because Shaki is completely cool with Rayleigh just going out and doing his thing at bars and stuff.
Well, that doesn't mean that he's sleeping with other women.
No,
that just means that she's okay with him living his own life.
Yeah, no,
come on, Jack. Don't read too far into it.
Yeah, no, don't read too much into it.
Stop trying to make fetch work.
That's not fetch, dude. Do you even know
It
what fetch
is fetch. It is your version of fetch. Shut up.
No, you shut up.
Trying to make Rayleigh uh
Slut.
a bit of a slut when he's not.
Yeah. Rayleigh
Okay,
is a
okay,
loyal
real
boy.
quick.
He is
Real-
just having fun drinking his booze and gambling.
And
Those are his vices.
also getting caught in a slave ring voluntarily for about 6
Okay.
months.
Speaking of sluttiness, can we just talk about real quick how Roger just straight up got a glow up for the Odin flashback?
Huh?
How
Roger
so?
just straight up got yassified for the Odin flashback because
He was always Yas, dude. What are you talking about?
no. Before the Odin flashback, he just had the standard pirate getup, but in the Odin flashback, he just has tits out, abs shown out, looking super fly, all that shit.
Dude, that's when he wasn't in formal wear. That's when he was traveling.
Yeah, but Oda didn't show him like that before the Odin flashback. Oda showed him like that in the Odin flashback because Oda wanted to show
It
off
could also
Roger
be
at his peak.
remember, Jack, these flashbacks are from Odin's point of view. Maybe it's romanticized. Like you're not thinking about the thematics of it.
Guys,
also-
really.
Anyway, that's beyond the point.
Anyways, speaking of going back to Egghead, though, do you think the Straw Hats are going to fight the Vice Admirals before they leave Egghead?
I think honestly the Vice Admirals are going to be there to be jobbers.
For the Straw Hats, I think so too.
Because let's be honest, the only Vice Admiral that can face up to the Straw Hats is Garp. And he's
Garp
only
is
Vice
currently-
Admiral by choice.
Yeah.
Even
Garp is also kind of-
Smoker, even Smoker can't really face up to them at this point.
Maybe.
And I think Smoker's gonna. I mean, we'll see how it progresses, but I think if they progress to picking new admirals, Smoker would become a new admiral. Maybe that'll end up being towards the epilogue, and he'll be a better admiral than the other ones in terms of his philosophy.
It would also like play into the theme of the admirals consistently. Well, here's the thing: the quote-unquote evil admirals have all had Logia powers, with the only exception. The only non-Logia admiral we've seen is Fujitora.
And he's been consistently the most moral of the admirals.
I love Fujitora. He's my favorite admiral.
Fujitora's fucking great.
Also, just before we're gonna wrap up now, because this is just turning from drunk One Piece theories to gushing about One Piece, which I don't mind, but it is getting late. However,
real quick, if there are future 3 admirals in the post-story One Piece, who do you think they'll be? My money is on Kobe, Smoker, and if there's a 3rd admiral, it would be either Groose or Hina.
No, I don't think. I think Groose and Hina would not be a part of that. Well, unless I think Kobe would be the head admiral.
The fleet admiral.
Kobe might
Fleet
be
admiral.
fleet admiral actually. Now that
I think
Kobe would be fleet
post-series,
admiral.
It'd be either Kobe or Kuzan. It might be
Kuzan. No, Kuzan is not going back to the Marines.
Oh, you know
think
what?
he's gonna make it back.
No,
to the
you know what?
Marines.
Smoker might end up the fleet admiral.
Because
He's rather than the fighty guy. Because remember, fleet admiral has consistently been more of the administrative guy than the fighty guy.
Yeah, you're right.
Right? Because like it's the contrast between Garp and Sengoku.
Let me throw this hat in the ring. Helmeppo.
No, Helmeppo clearly will become the commander-in-chief.
No, not in terms of fleet admiral, but he could become one of the admirals.
So
We don't know where he's going to develop
Smoker-
at this point.
If Smoker becomes fleet admiral, I'm willing to say Shigi would become an admiral.
Yeah, Shigi. Yeah.
There's I don't necessarily know if Tashigi will even stay with the Marines.
Probably not, but like I'm saying, if Smoker becomes fleet admiral, then Tashigi could reasonably be assumed to become an admiral as a consequence.
Yes. But yeah, just I will now leave you all with a single quote with a single piece of information about Roger. Canonically, his mustache is nose hair. Good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
God damn it.
Bye.
God damn it. Later.
And we are signing off.